2000, sort of mid-2009 when the recession ended through to kind of 2012 was really limping along at growth at about half of what we normally see in U.S. recovery cycles. But last year we really saw a pickup of growth to closer to 3 to 4%, which we think will continue in this year. What does it mean for us? It means our largest trading partner, our largest export market, will be growing more quickly, and it'll accelerate increase in BC and Canadian exports into the U.S. Should also improve the tourism market. So it's a big plus for Canada, including for BC. Construction generally has had over a 50% increase in the number of people employed from 2003 to 2013, at a time when the overall economy only added about 15% of new jobs. So construction's been growing on an employment basis a lot faster than the economy as a whole. Looking ahead, we see non-residential construction in particular as an area of significant strength in BC due to a very large number of proposed and current capital projects, not just in the resource sector, but also transportation projects, new office towers being built here in Vancouver. There's 4 or 5 of them approved or under construction. So each one of those has quite an impact on itself, and we've got multiple projects underway. So construction, industry, particularly the non-residential component, I think will be central to the economic growth dynamic in BC over the next 3 to 5 years. BC's got a lot of strengths, I think, underlying strengths, but we have some competitive challenges here that we're going to have to get at. One is we've gone backwards on tax competitiveness from a business community point of view with the elimination of HST, the return of the provincial retail sales tax, $30 a ton carbon tax, high property taxes in some municipalities on business. So there are a series of issues around the tax environment that I think we need to work on to sort of maximize our economic development opportunities. A second is skill mismatches in the labor market. This is not a huge problem across the whole economy, but it's starting to surface in some pockets. And if we don't kind of get on top of it and make sure we're training and educating enough people in the areas where demand is going to be strong, we're going to see upward pressure on inflation and maybe projects that won't go ahead because we won't have the people. So I think, industry and government leaders need to be working together hand in glove to try and address that challenge. We've got other local issues. High cost of housing in Metro Vancouver is certainly, there's not much we can do about it, I don't think, but it's certainly an issue that we hear a lot about in the business community. It does impose burdens on people. It makes it harder to attract people into the region. We've got as well, I think, a lot of work we need to do around the social license to operate, especially in the resource industries. A lot of people in BC, particularly here in the Lower Mainland, I don't think recognize the extent to which the foundation of BC's prosperity is heavily influenced even today by natural resource industries. 3/4 of what we export outside of our province comes out of the resource economy, and if liquefied natural gas comes forward with 3 or 4 major plants, the percentage will be even higher. So we need to kind of acknowledge that and try and maybe improve public understanding and acceptance of resource activity. In a world where the global center of economic gravity is incrementally shifting toward Asia, we're well positioned on the west coast of North America to be part of that and to benefit from it. We've got a very strong gateway infrastructure. A lot of money has been spent on ports and South Fraser Perimeter Road, Port of Prince Rupert. Railway companies have invested quite heavily in BC. So our physical gateway infrastructure is in pretty good shape, and we're well positioned to see it grow or facilitate growth in trade. We've got I would say we've got a provincial government that's quite focused on economic development and doing what it can to advance economic development, which is very helpful, I think. We've got a multicultural population, which I think is an advantage over time in a world where there's going to be 3 billion new middle-class consumers, almost all in emerging markets, representing a wide range of different cultures and ethnic traditions. So having a multicultural base here, I think, can be helpful in establishing the business and trade connections between our province and overseas markets. So yeah, BC, I think, has a lot to be grateful for.